I said to her very calmly, my dad is trying to shake at this point. I said, can you please not talk to us that way? My dad is shaking. This is not acceptable. I happen to have a backpack on me, and I'm walking into the store, and this female manager very abruptly stops me, putting out her arm. And I had to like jolt myself like that because I almost walked into her arms. And only about 2 feet behind her was the Metro Dade cop that is working off duty at the store to pace the amount of the students that could come into the store. She yells at me, drop your bag, drop your bag. And I'm like, I'm an adult. And I told her my age. She's like, oh, you look good for your age. And it's like, we're outside Publix here, guys. This is Publix in Sunny Isles Beach. This is the beach right there, and this is the Publix here. So yesterday I had a pretty unimaginable experience here at Publix. Basically, you have quite a few managers that work here. You have the main store manager, and then you have a lot of lower level managers that do different functions here. So one of the lower level managers, and I don't mean lower level in a derogatory way, I mean it in terms of area manager and such as that. I don't know exactly what her position is. One of the lower level managers here, she ended up screaming at my dad. My dad is almost 70 years old. My dad ended up shaking from it. She really screamed at him pretty good, and she screamed at me too. It's like with me, it's like I'm young, you know, you want to scream at me, it's inappropriate, but you don't scream at my elderly dad. So background info on what happened. Yesterday we were shopping here at this Publix. As you guys know, I always go to Publix to do my shorts, so you guys obviously know how often I'm at Publix, and we shop every day at Publix. So yesterday when we were here at Publix, I went into the bathroom to use the bathroom before leaving, and my dad was waiting for me outside of the bathroom, which is right next to where the customer service area is, where you buy like lotto tickets. And my dad ended up witnessing a elderly man who was buying a lotto ticket, who had his shopping cart that was filled with groceries, and the grocery cart was like kind of to the side of him. So my dad ends up witnessing a man come out of nowhere very rapidly, go towards the man's shopping cart, successfully grab onto the cart, and head very quickly towards the elevator. In which case, the elderly man that was buying the lotto ticket, what my dad relayed to me, was that the elderly man then started to loudly ask for assistance. This man just took my groceries, he's got my groceries. In which case, apparently one of the kind female managers at the store intercepted the cart, got the man back his groceries, and I don't know exactly what ended up happening to this man in question who took the groceries. I think the store tried to play it off that it was a misunderstanding because they don't want to like be writing up incidents that are happening at the store. You know, the more incidents you write up at the store, the reputation of the store drops, and then what happens is it always ends up being management's fault. So it's always good to kind of like brush things under the rug. From what we had gathered, he walked off abruptly, then he walked back through the store, and then I ended up catching a glimpse of this man in question going into the elevator very quickly and heading back upstairs. So I don't know exactly what happened with that element, but the man who was elderly got his cart back of groceries. At the same time that this was happening, there was other management, 2 men. So I had to go upstairs because it's too hot. So I was up to the part of the story where I was talking about at the same time that apparently this incident was occurring with the man who tried to take the other man's groceries. I did end up witnessing an incident where there were 2 male lower level managers at the store that were in process of removing a non-customer who was causing problems in the store. And it just seemed like there was just a lot going on in the store at one time. This is a store that's also had, unfortunately, some stories in the news not that long ago, so I don't know, you know, if the store just has a lot of issues going on, and that these things just have not been, you know, maybe it's a management flaw of the store. Where my dad, I've left the bathroom, we're both standing like we're gonna go to the elevator, and I was asking my dad, like, so what happened with this guy? Like, what was the incident that just happened regarding the guy with the cart? Because my dad was telling me about it. One of the female managers overhears, and she actually approaches us first. She comes over to us, she's like, well, what are you guys talking about? We're like, oh, we're asking, is the elderly man okay? You know, did he get his groceries back? Is everything okay? We're just concerned what's going on with the store, because this is our neighborhood, you know, Publix, and can you, you know, it's across the street from the beach, and can you tell me what is going on with the store? So she's like, oh yeah, the grocery thing was rectified. And my dad ends up showing her the photo of the man who tried to take the man's groceries. We are out in public. My dad took the photo because we are, number one, in public, and number two, he believed that a crime was happening, and we were unsure if the person in question would be apprehended. What if the police needed that photo to try, and this was a person who had been causing other problems in the store. So he did that in good character, thinking that it would be something that would help assist in an investigation if they could not catch this person. Luckily, the man's groceries were returned. What was also sad about that situation is that one of the reasons also the man was so loudly upset was that he was voicing very loudly, can someone help me? That was my dad relayed to me, can someone help me? This man took my groceries. And that's why one of the female managers was able to intercept the groceries, because you would say, how did she know? Well, the man was so loud, apparently, saying, can someone help me? That's how the female manager overheard and, you know, intercepted him. So he was loud with that, and it's good that that was corrected, because when we were checking out with our groceries, we were behind this man who was checking out, this elderly man. And this elderly man was paying with SNAP, and he was struggling and financially struggling, and that's why he was so erratic when he thought his groceries had been taken. He's paying with SNAP. He doesn't know if he's going to be able to eat now. And so he got his groceries back. We're standing in front of the elevator. The manager comes over and says, what are you guys talking about? We're like, oh, is everything okay? She says everything's okay. And then she calls over this other female lower level manager. And that's where this comes into play. So this other female lower manager comes over, dad shows the photo, and she starts screaming at us. She starts screaming at my dad and me, why did you take a photo? What makes you think you have a right to take a photo? My dad says we thought we were helping, that there was a crime in progress. Oh, so now you know who commits a crime and who doesn't. She starts screaming at my dad. Now you know who's a criminal and who's not. Then she goes on, I didn't take a photo of you. And we were like, so I said to her very calmly, my dad is starting to shake at this point. I said, can you please not talk to us that way? My dad is shaking. This is not acceptable. And she storms off as she's screaming at us. A little bit of a background info on this. I feel like this female manager that screamed at my dad and me has more to do with me than my dad. I want you to focus on the line she said to me. She's like, I didn't take a photo of you. And how do you know who's a criminal? I didn't take a photo of you. So I'm filming this video in August, the beginning of August, and I think it was around May or so when she first started. First time I saw her at the store, because I come to the store every day, so I know when someone's new or not. And we happen to have a school that is right across the street, and apparently the Publix consistently complains that a lot of the youth may or may not be causing a ruckus in the store or not, but that's besides the point. But during the school year here, we have some sort of Metro-Dade police officer that works off duty here at the store in order to pace the amount of students that are allowed into the store at a time. They really give the students a very hard time. So during the school year, around the time period of May, I had an encounter with this same female manager where I was coming into the store on a school day, day of the week. And for the record, guys, I'm an adult. And I happen to have a backpack on me. And I'm walking into the store. And this female manager very abruptly stops me. She stops me by putting out her arm like this, so I cannot pass. And I almost walk into her arm. I was walking into the store. She puts out her arm, and I had to jolt myself like that because I almost walked into her arm. Not only did she put out her arm, but she actually jumped in front of my path like that, blocked my path. And only about 2 feet behind her was the Metro-Dade cop that is working off-duty at the store to pace the amount of the students that can come into the store. And so she blocks my path, and she yells at me, "Drop your bag." And what happens at that point is, because the cop is off-duty and he works for them, he's reacting. So in other words, he's starting to inch forward towards me, and I don't know what's going on at this point. She said, "Drop your bag." And I'm like, "I'm an adult." And I told her my age. She's like, "Oh, you look good for your age." And it's like, there's no sorry, there's nothing. This is the second time actually at this store where they had attempted to do some odd age profiling. Another time, a different Metro-Dade cop stopped me. I walked into the store. He actually followed me through the lobby area, calling out to me, asking me to stop, which is considered actually a stop. And asking me my age, told him my age. But the situation with her was actually worse because she actually extended her arm, and if I didn't stop as quickly as I did, I probably would have walked into her arm, and she could have actually hit me with her arm. It's not acceptable behavior. She seems to have some sort of fixation with the youth, some odd interest with profiling the youth, because I overheard her make a comment one day, a different day, to one of the Metro-Dade cops, saying to him, when the students come into the school, she goes, "You got to really watch them," she goes, "because they like to take candy," she goes, "from the store, and they like to take $40 at a time of candy from the store, and you got to really watch them because they all do this. That's what they're all up to," she goes. So when you put it all together, when she asked me to drop my bag, that's what she was accusing me of. When she saw me with my dad, she probably didn't recognize me from back in May, but again, because I'm petite, again, she assumes wrongly my age. And then again, when she made the comment of I didn't take a photo of you, now you can connect the dots. So you know what a criminal is? I didn't take a photo of you, she goes. So then you can see how she's connecting the dots to these comments she made to the off-duty cop of, "You got to really watch the youth. They like to take candy from the store." So this is the second, third time at this store that they are profiling, it seems, young women and accusing them of, I guess, shoplifting or something of that nature, which is not acceptable. And this issue was pretty serious because, again, you want to yell at my dad, you want to yell at me, okay, but to scream and make my dad, who's almost 70, shake is not acceptable. To scream at my dad, who is almost 70 years old, is not acceptable. And again, this is a situation. In the past, I did not report either of the incidents in the past where she accused me, because I just wanted to let it go. I didn't want to be someone who's making a problem at the grocery store that I go to every single day, and I don't want to be known as that girl as I walk into the store. But what's happening now is the situation is continuing and continuing and continuing. And now it's at a point where she got into my dad's face and my face and screamed at us. So that's not acceptable. and she's point blankly now accusing I didn't take a photo of you, because again, she's made those comments that all the youth, you gotta watch them, they love to take candy from the store. So I am not gonna have a situation where, school, the school year is starting right around the corner here. Even though I'm an adult, it actually affects me because I shop in the store during the school year, obviously. And I don't need a situation, a month from now where she's again coming over to me accusing me of taking candy or whatever she comes up with at the moment. So unfortunately, this is now at a point where I had to make a complaint to corporate because she's in her own way gone rogue, and that's not acceptable, and it just needs to be dealt with now from the store. I don't want it where, all I want from the situation is that they tell her to stop. That's all I want. All I want from the situation is that they tell this manager she needs to stop. You cannot be harassing customers. You would think that this would be like a no-brainer, but apparently it's not. But, she needs to stop harassing customers. It's not acceptable. And yeah, this is my channel, Nicole Approves. So this is what I do. I go out and I share the bizarre experiences that I have. So this was another one of those experiences, unfortunately. But I appreciate you all watching. Feel free to share your stories here as well. And thank you so much for watching. And as a reminder, I have Patreon and YouTube channel memberships, which has different exclusive content on each of those. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video, and bye!